It is not looking good for Donald Trump. Donald Trump's health is crashing, and now the White House is saying he will be going to Walter Reed at the end of this month. They also say he will be going for an annual dental checkup as well. Although 2 weeks ago, the White House said he was doing a dental checkup in Florida with his personal dentist there. This is raising all sorts of red flags. There's a dental operatory inside the White House itself, so why you would need to see a dentist in Florida or at Walter Reed makes zero sense. And then there is what we've been observing with Donald Trump. I mean, you've seen these photos and these photos. You see his hands and his neck. You see that he's unable to walk in straight lines. You've seen that he's unable to complete sentences. I mean, when he returned to the White House this past week, we have video of him exiting Marine One. He can't walk in a straight line. And there was another video of him getting on Marine One where he was going to do a meeting in Virginia to meet with the Saudis over the Live Golf tournament. He couldn't walk in a straight line. Of course, there's the other video footage that we shared with you when he met Putin back last August. Obviously, he can't walk in a straight line there. When he met with the Prime Minister of Japan, Takaishi, he couldn't walk in a straight line and she had to escort him. You know, yesterday, as Donald Trump was falling asleep in the Oval Office as he was hosting some meeting that was ostensibly supposed to be on maternal care, but it was ended up being just Donald Trump ranting and raving like a lunatic. I mean, Donald Trump was falling asleep, obviously, during this press conference, and you could see behind him, you know, Dr. Oz and Brooke Rollins, you know, Trump cabinet officials and Trump top officials. They were very nervous. You can see them whispering because looked like Donald Trump was passing out. You know, also you see some of the politicians in the background, you know, and I'll circle them right there so you can see for yourself some of these female healthcare leaders and politicians who were in the room. Again, looking very, you know, both kind of nervous and disgusted at what they were observing with Donald Trump. And again, you know, we've seen what the hand looks like. We've seen the neck. We've seen, you know, his behavior yesterday was really as bad as we've seen it. And this is when they announced he is going to Walter Reed. He is getting this dental checkup. I'll talk about this in a moment as well. You know, then in the afternoon, he was with the Indiana national football team. He didn't realize he was standing right next to the coach. And he was like, where is he? Where is he? And standing right next to him. Then he started looking at the different young men on the team and the students. And he was saying, you're so handsome. You're so handsome. I don't like handsome men, but you're so handsome. And then later that night, he gave that speech at the Rose Garden, which he now calls Club Rose Garden. He got rid of all of the grass and he turned it into something that looks like Mar-a-Lago. And I mean, he became unglued. I mean, the wheels were literally coming off before our eyes. And he would say things like, you know, people get very confused, he says, with, you know, the fact that there are boats in the sea and eyes allow you to see. People are very confused about the difference between the word see, S-E-A, and the word see, S-E-E. No one really knows. That's not really an issue that people are having. People know the difference between the word sea like water and see like eyes. I want to just go through this with you step by step so you can, you know, see all of this for yourself. I want to bring the receipts. And so here's what we learned yesterday. Kelly Meyer, here's what she reported for News Nation. Donald Trump will visit Walter Reed National Military Medical Center on May 26th for his annual dental and medical evaluation, per a statement from the White House just now. Statement from the White House. Donald J. Trump will visit Walter Reed National Military Medical Center on May 26th for his annual dental and medical evaluations and to visit with the men and women of the military. This will include the president's routine annual dental and medical assessments as part of his regular preventative health care. The president will also spend time with service members and staff at Walter Reed in recognition of their service, professionalism, and dedication to the nation. Additional details regarding the president's schedule will be released at a later date. We know that Donald Trump hates our members of the military. He calls them suckers and losers. And so in my view, that's just pretext for Donald Trump to spend a very long time at Walter Reed. And there's so many red flags being raised like 2 weeks ago or so. May 2nd, 2026, when Donald Trump was in Florida, where he eventually went to the Doral tournament where the PGA had its worst attendance ever. But when Donald Trump was in the Palm Beach area, here's what was reported. Per White House pool reporter Annie Linsky, the president has left his Jupiter Golf Club in Florida for a dental appointment. White House says it's a scheduled appointment at his local dentist. And they made it sound like that was his annual dental appointment, as Jonathan Reiner, cardiologist, renowned doctor in D.C. He's actually a cardiologist for Cheney as well. He writes, the White House has a dental operatory since the Hoover administration. Routine dental exams can be done in the White House. This raises red flags. Why are you doing a dental exam at Walter Reed? That makes absolutely no sense at all. And why were you saying you were getting a routine dental exam 2 weeks ago when you were in Florida? You just get dental exams every 2 weeks. I mean, it's possible. But again, when the dental operatory is in the White House, why aren't you getting it done there? And we know that actually Donald Trump had another suspicious trip to the dentist on January 10th of 2026. And so this was about 3-4 months ago or so. Then he started making all of these weird posts right as he left the dentist. This is what we learned January 10th, 2026. Out of town pool note number 1. Good morning from Palm Beach. This is different than 2 weeks ago. This is January 10th, 2026, 7:56 a.m. Good morning from Palm Beach. The motorcade is rolling from Mar-a-Lago at 7:54 a.m. From the White House, President Trump is going to a scheduled dental appointment at his local dentist in Florida. Pool did not lay eyes on POTUS.
So you've got some major breaking news, Justin. Let me interrupt for just a minute because this is something people need to be paying attention to right now, especially with hurricane season just weeks away. Trump's FEMA Review Council has just released new recommendations that critics say would dramatically weaken the federal government's disaster response system and shift more of the financial burden onto states and local communities. The timing here is raising major concerns. According to the recommendations, states would be expected to take on more responsibility for disaster recovery costs, even as many states are already struggling with budget shortfalls and increasingly severe climate disasters. The proposal also encourages private insurance companies to take over more flood insurance policies from the National Flood Insurance Program, something that critics are warning could make coverage harder to get and significantly more expensive for families already dealing with rising insurance costs. At the same time, Trump's budget proposals have included massive cuts to FEMA preparedness funding, including more than $1 billion in reductions for state and local emergency programs. There are also reports that FEMA staffing cuts could eliminate over 11,000 positions. And here's another major point. Data shows that disaster aid approvals under Trump have been far more likely for Republican-led states than Democratic-led states. Critics are saying disaster relief is being politicized at the exact moment that communities need fast, reliable help as extreme weather events continue to intensify across the country. And remember, this comes as tariffs on construction materials are already expected to increase rebuilding costs by nearly $11,000 per home, according to builders' estimates. All right, well, now I need to hear from you. What do you think about all this? What are your thoughts on the Trump administration's actions, on their approach to the climate, on these climate segments that we do here at MeidasTouch? Let me know right now in the comments. I'm going to be reading them all. Okay, Ben, back to you.
So a dental appointment, January 10th, 2026, a dental appointment, May 2nd, 2026, another dental appointment, May 26, 2026, and then he says his annual preventative care physical, May 26, 2026, that's all going to be taking place at Walter Reed and not in the dental operatory in the White House. Now, you know, in the MeidasTouch Network, we reported last month that we believe Donald Trump had missed his annual physical because his prior annual physical was April of 2025. And that's where Donald Trump's doctors were like, oh, he's in great physical shape as evidenced by him winning golf tournaments. And there were so many red flags there. Then you'll recall in October of 2025, the Trump regime said he's getting his annual physical. And then we raised red flags and said, didn't he have his annual physical April? No, actually, this is a semi-annual physical. Okay, then we learned that he had an MRI done. And then apparently Trump said, no, it was a preventative MRI of the abdomen. Then it was like, well, people don't do preventative MRIs of the abdomen. Any nurse, doctor, anyone who's had an MRI before knows there's no such thing as preventative abdominal MRIs. That's not a thing that happens. Preventative MRIs in general are a very rare thing for those who have had MRIs. I mean, you know the process of getting an MRI. It's usually target at a specific area, not the abdomen. MRIs really aren't even that good at an abdomen thing. And then the Trump regime changed that story and said, oh, it wasn't actually remember in December, they then said, it wasn't an abdominal MRI. It was a CT scan of the abdomen on a preventative basis. And meanwhile, I mean, we see Donald Trump's behavior. I mean, we see the hands, the neck, the unable to walk in a straight line. The fact that Donald Trump says that he didn't know the parts of his body where the October MRI were taken of. If you've had an MRI, you know the parts of your body where the MRI was taken. It's a very serious process when you get an MRI. You know, it's a little bit scary for a lot of people. As for me, it was. I was scared when I got an MRI, and it was very claustrophobic in the thing. Like, you know what an MRI is. So even if you claim you don't know what part of your body or the difference between an MRI and a CT scan, that raises a lot of red flags to me as well. And then there was, Donald Trump's, behavior in the Oval Office and in the White House yesterday. I mean, this is real serious stuff. This is not... I'm not trying to mock it and be, oh, look at it. No, I'm not trying to be like that. This is serious physical and cognitive deterioration before our eyes. And so, take a look right here. This was Donald Trump at this, this event that was supposed to deal with maternal care, but it ended up being RFK Jr. like ranting and raving about sperm, about teenagers with sperm. And then Donald Trump's like, I feel the same as I did 50 years ago. It's crazy because I don't eat the best foods, but I feel really good. You don't look good. You don't sound good. What's going on? Play this clip.
But I feel literally the same. I don't know why. It's not because I eat the best foods. Maybe they are the best foods. Who knows what the best foods are? Maybe junk food is good and the other food is no good. I know people that eat the best food. They go to a restaurant, they have celery, and I don't want, and I'll have steak and everything else. And I say, how you doing? Well, it's over for me at a young age.
And then when Donald Trump was speaking to the law enforcement group at what he calls Club Rose Garden at night, he was saying, oh, the word see, it's like water versus your eyes, very confusing stuff. Here, play this clip.
With respect to drugs coming in by sea, meaning drugs coming in by water, by the ocean, by the sea. A lot of people don't know what I mean by sea. They think I'm talking about vision. I'm not. I'm talking about sea, like the sea.
And when Donald Trump was, interacting with some of the people in the Oval Office earlier in the day, and they had questions. So they were like, is there an option for cheaper IVF? Like, what are we doing here? What is the purpose of this, maternal care press conference? Can you explain to me, how are we going to get IVF cheaper? Didn't you say you were going to get IVF free? Wasn't that one of your promises that you made? Obviously, he lies about everything. And Trump's like, I don't know. I don't know what we're talking about here. Here, play this clip.
Or they self-pay for health insurance. Is there an option for cheaper IVF for those women?
And what would you like to know?
For IVF, bring it down to the cost that's associated.
I don't know. Olivia, could you answer that question, please?
And then he went on, and I'll show you when he was with the Indiana football team, and he would tell the guys how good looking they are, and he doesn't like handsome people. Play this clip.
I said, how good is he, coach? He said he can play. Let me see. He's a good looking guy. I don't like good looking people. I don't like good looking men at all, believe me.
He didn't realize that Kirk Signetti, the Indiana coach, was standing right next to him. Here, play this clip.
The press conference in 2023, shortly after joining Indiana, Kurt, who's Kurt? Kurt Signetti. Where is Kurt Signetti? Right here. Huh? Oh. Come here. Come here. Kurt Signetti has turned out to be, I think he's the coach of the last decade.
And then his description of the Oval Office to the football players. Everything sort of begins, ends, and re-begins again in the Oval Office. What is that even supposed to mean? Here, play this clip.
I'm very good at building things, but I said to the coach, there's a special place here, and it's called the Oval Office. Everything sort of begins, ends, and re-begins again. And I said, if you like, Coach, I'll take your entire team back, and we're going to go to the Oval Office, show him the Oval Office, and we're going to give him a very, very special medal. And I said, so what do you want to do, Coach? He said, we want to go. Hold it. You guys want to go to the Oval Office? Yes, sir. I had a feeling they were going to say that. I had a feeling. So, Coach.
Then speaking in front of the group of women in the Oval Office and RFK talking about sperm, he started making noises. Ba 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 ba. He says, "Here, play this clip."
Missile shot. They look ba 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 ba, and they're going heading 47 degrees north, 1,300 feet, going 3,000 miles an hour. Okay, we have it in our sight. Fire, boom. 10 seconds left. Let me tell you, they need smart people. Mm-hmm. These people are smart. And they're so smart that they're cool.
And then he says his blockade on the Strait of Hormuz is a genius thing because he says it was the most genius move allowing Iran to control the Strait of Hormuz. Here, play this.
When people heard about losing Hormuz, they said, it's genius. They're finding other locations. And some of those people, I spoke to them, companies and countries, some of those people are going to continue to go to Texas. They like it better. They said it's an extra 45 minutes. They like it better. And it's sort of amazing, it found its way. So a lot of people thought oil would go to $250, $300. It's not. I mean, today it's at less than 100. Think of that. Now, when this ends, you're going to see it drop like a rock.
How long are you going to suspend that tax for?
Till it's appropriate, yeah.
And then again, outside, he's ranting and raving like he's got real issues here. Here, play this clip.
So the other people we have, and we have some of the greatest people on earth here tonight, Homeland Security. The Homeland Security team has been unbelievable, I have to tell you. And I came up with an idea that I thought was brilliant. I think all my ideas are brilliant, actually. But this one, I knew I was brilliant. Then I got a call from Tom Homan. He wasn't thrilled. Where's Tom? Is he here? I love Tom Homan. Said, I'm the greatest president in history. I said, Tom, you can't do better than that? Thank you, Tom. So I get a call from Tom Homan. He didn't like it, but everyone else liked it. I wanted to change the name of ICE, which is a tough name, to NICE. So that when the fake news reports, they said, it was a nice day with NICE. We spent a beautiful day with NICE. I said, you will screw them up so badly they won't know what to do. But they said the people that worked there didn't like the name as much.
So you piece this all together. April 2025, physical, lots of red flags. October 2025, physical, they cover up MRI or CT scan. They tried to say there was just advanced imaging. Then we called it out right away on the MeidasTouch network. That must mean an MRI and a CT scan. They said MRI. Then they said MRI of the abdomen. Then they said CT scan of the abdomen, as most men of that age have, which is not true. Then April passes. MeidasTouch network flags when was the annual physical. Now they're saying he's going to Walter Reed for an annual physical and a dental visit. But he had a dental visit January 2026, May 2nd, 2026, also May 26, 2026, all outside of the operatory in the White House. Like when Biden had a root canal or when Biden would go to the dentist, it would happen in the White House. That's where Obama famously talked about, I didn't realize there was a dental office in the White House. They come to the White House. It's not at Walter Reed. And then he's going to Walter Reed again right now. And I believe he's using the troops as subterfuge or as an excuse for why it's going to be so very long. And if you want to know, Ben, what do you think? I'll share with you my opinion as protected by the First Amendment of the United States Constitution. This video, by the way, I'm giving you a lot of my opinions here. You can feel free to agree with my opinions or disagree with my opinions. But I think it's a number of things. I think it could be Alzheimer's like his father. He's right at the same age that his father got Alzheimer's, and his dad's Alzheimer's really rapidly progressed. I mean, I'm showing you those clips. What else do you think that is? I'm asking you. And then his dad had, really horrible Alzheimer's runs in his family. It's not just his dad. Many family members suffer from Alzheimer's, and it's crippling. And right around his age is when they get it. And he's turning 80. He's turning 80 very soon. Potentially mini strokes, the slurring, the droopy face that you see. It could be, and this is what lots of top doctors have told me, it could be mini strokes that he's had, and it's progressing worse and worse and worse before our eyes. I mean, we see, I showed you, the sleeping, and all of that behavior right there. So it could be that, just really bad dementia. I'll let you, you could tell me what you think. But, that's where we're at now. Judge for yourself. Hit subscribe. Let's get to 7 million subscribers. And thanks everybody for watching.
Want to stay plugged in? Become a subscriber to our Substack at MeidasPlus.com. You'll get daily recaps from Ron Filipkowski, ad-free episodes of our podcast, and more exclusive content only available at MeidasPlus.com.